Welcome to the Loveland Report and Loan Arranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the loan arranger. We're going to give you real estate news. We're going to give you mortgage news. We're going to tell you what's going on, so you don't have to bother watching those 30 channels with all those little pinheads that have never sold a house in their life.
Isn't that the truth?
It's like they think it's just like we got to grab ratings. We got to talk drama. So I'm going to dive into what's going on. We want to talk about the new Fed chair. Prices are being slashed nationwide. And we'll talk slashed, plummeting. Holidays are over, Bruce. So, like right now, this is the first week of December.
Holidays are over. They're just getting,
you want to buy. We can get you in by New Year's.
We can
most
do
likely.
that. You know what? We can absolutely do that. If you call us today, I could have you into a home by New Year's, and that's pretty quick. I mean, that's a holiday month, but we can get you in. You get us your pay stubs, W-2s, whatever we need to get your loan approved. I'll get you approved, and we will close and fund
real quick.
And New Year's,
I want to jump to something real quick. I had this discussion with obviously an amateur loan rep. Got a contract, one of my own personal homes I'm selling, and the lender was insisting they needed 6 weeks, and yet they say they have every document from the buyer, everything's in. And I'm like, then you're not. I'm like, and this is not a monster mega bank. That's my first question. I'm like, why can't you do that? If underwriting takes a couple days and an appraisal takes a week or two,
you need that?
I'm like, I told the realtor, you got to change lenders, and we got them over to you because that's not normal. Something's going on there. They don't know their business. There's something they weren't saying about the file. They were, I don't know what it was.
There's only, and Cleve, I believe that's where honesty comes in. And a lot of loan officers, they are so afraid of losing the deal, and realtors for that matter. They're so afraid of losing the deal that they're not being honest with people. And so let's just say we had a legitimate reason for that. Let's say that somebody brought you a client and said, listen, this deal's done. It's been pre-underwritten. We've got everything we need, but we need 6 weeks. And you say, well, that doesn't sound right. Tell me why. Well, because they are getting a settlement that's coming in on this date, or, there's gift funds, and the gift funds won't be until that date to pay off their car.
Start a new job, need the first month's pay stub.
Could be any number of things, right? That you may say, oh, okay, give me, send me their employment agreement to show me that they're getting this raise on that day, and maybe I'll accept your offer. But if you're just saying I need 6 weeks, if I told my realtors that I needed 6 weeks to close a loan, they wouldn't call me back.
Yeah, you're right. No,
they just wouldn't call me back. I mean, a lot of them, I got one that's closing that I got Monday, and it's got to close by the 22nd of this month. It's a mail away, and it's in Idaho.
Okay.
So
it can be done.
Well,
that's why people should reach out to you, and realtors, don't waste your time with other lenders. Just call Bruce. It will get done. If there's a loan there, it will get done on time, and you'll know why it's taking this amount of time and what are expectations, realistic expectations.
Call me now at 40. Here's my number. Write my number down. If you are not in the market to buy or refinance, maybe you know somebody that is, and I'd be honored if you just share my information. Call me at 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Cleve, how can they reach you?
407-352-8118. You got to call me this weekend if we want to get into that house by Christmas, I think. It'd be
absolutely
quick. It would be quick. But I want to talk about the Fed cut we should have this week, and then the new chair.
87.5%.
You're saying Trump's picked a new chair for the Fed. Thank God.
Yep.
I was hoping Powell
would. It's not official, but he's picking Kevin Hassett, which is his financial advisor. Now, you have to remember that Powell isn't even an economist, okay? I think he's a weatherman or something.
I'm not sure. He's a knucklehead. But how you're saying that, like, this other new Fed chief is not in until May,
right?
But you're saying it's priced in the market now?
Well, it's not priced in the market, but the market is already starting to that Wall Street starts analyzing these things, and they can either like it or not like it.
How do you think they'll like it?
Well, it's only been a couple of days. So what we did see is we saw a drop in the bonds, which, remember, we want bonds to be up, not down, for lower interest rates. So I want the bonds to keep rising. We were doing really good until last Friday. And then on Monday, the Japanese market announced that they may be raising their core rate because of inflation. Well, that freaked our feds out and went, whoa.
But isn't the rest of the world at lower rates than we are?
I think a lot of them have lowered their rates.
That's been
a lot earlier than we did.
They did, and it's like Powell's just too slow they didn't raise the rates fast enough back before, and they didn't lower them fast enough for the past 3 years. And I just think anybody Trump picks is going to be better than the brainless guy we've had.
Well, I think that you're probably right about that. Here's another thing. You do have to concern yourself with inflation. You hear me say this all the time. Inflation erodes the bond market. It is the kryptonite of the bond market. Bonds hate inflation. And if mortgages are tied to bonds, then we don't want inflation because it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt interest rates. So if the Fed's saying, yeah, I know we need to lower rates, but if I lower rates, then I got to deal with inflation over here, and that's just going to raise your rates up. So what they give us as a benefit of a quarter point, half a point, whatever we happen to get, you might not ever see if inflation starts sucking the energy out of the bond market.
Yep.
Remember, they're not tied to each other, but they will affect each other.
All right. Where are we at with rates? I mean, because I saw
6.5, 6,
Okay.
6.3, 6.5.
and then government rates are a little better.
A little bit better. You can get
Govy
into the
loans.
I'm locking VA refis in the fives.
Okay.
FHA refis,
And I saw
fives, low sixes.
I was making fun of the talking heads you see on all the different news stations trying to grab your eyeballs or your clicks on what's going on out there. I did see Sirhan is a very celebrity real estate agent starting. He's actually starting a nationwide franchise, but he's actually very smart when it comes to that. And he was talking about, okay, rates are in the sixes. When are we going to get better rates? He goes, this is a better rate. We had 6 3/4 last year. We had 7.5 the year before that. We had 8 for a while. Yeah. So all these things come into play, and we're not going to see. He was saying, and I agree, we're not going to see the 4s again.
No,
I don't think we will.
No,
There's going to be, I mean, that was a one-time thing.
And if you wait, here's the thing that I'm hearing from some people.
He said the same thing too
about refining. I'm hearing people wait or purchasing, but even refining. So you got a 7 1/4, and you can go down to, let's say on a conventional loan at 6.5. And the client goes, yeah, it's only $200 a month. I think I'll wait. What if it never goes down any further? What if it doesn't go down? That $200 a month over the next 360 months might have saved that client $125,000.
Yeah.
So you can't look at it that way. If you can take a couple $100 now, it might be a bird in the hand.
Yep.
So
I just think right now, here's the good part. You know, I teased about an article about prices are being slashed nationwide. And this is a nationwide stat. Remember when we talk, are we talking about Central Florida or Florida? Are we talking about the nation? Around the nation, prices are getting cut. And the percentage they're cutting is more than Central Florida.
Absolutely.
Now, and here's the other thing too. You know, our market is healthy. Our inventory is not growing for the past 6 months. Our inventory stayed the same, and the sales are slowly picking up. And in fact, I should have those numbers next week for us on the show about how November did in sales. And I just think this is the end. This is the bottom. And these slowdowns, I was going back through some charts and that I found from the Fed, and it showed like the slowdowns. The slowdowns are about 3 to 5 years.
Yes.
The pickups are 10 to 12. And we've been in this slowdown, the Sleepy Joe hangover for 4 years almost. And it's just, and we're getting out of it. So all these different changes to the economy are happening. But the one thing, appreciation has been there. And if you want to own something, especially if you're renting, doesn't matter. You can't worry about it. Stop paying rent.
Well, isn't it interesting?
Get into a house.
Isn't it interesting that the reason our housing market buyers are slower is because of interest rate and affordability? But we clearly know, and we've learned, but we never really learn. Here's what I mean by that. We're operate out of fear. Okay. Let's go back to after the recession, after 2008. Okay. But everybody was in fear because they saw foreclosures. They saw their prices, their houses drop, but most people didn't buy. The only ones that were buying were Blackstone and those hedge funds that were buying property up after the recession.
Those are the ones now that want to steal your equity. Yeah.
Wouldn't that have been the best time to buy? But people lived in fear. Then you have situations like now where there is an opportunity, but people are still in fear. They're just a little reluctant to jump in the market. But if they do, these are the opportunities that are made. Yeah. Now is the time. The signal's there. Give them your number.
It is 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. And I just think nationwide, and this is another thing too, Bruce, I wanted to get a lot of emails on this, and I talked to my sellers about this. Slashing prices. I don't ever slash a price, but I will cut a price. You know, if a house has been on the market, you need to reposition it. And most of what's happening nowadays, if a house is on the market for a while, you got to look and see if you were listed for $499 and then 4 of your neighbors over the past 3 weeks, you didn't get an offer, and 4 of your neighbors came on at $495. Well, you probably need to go to 489.
I
But that's
agree.
what's smart about looking and seeing where you're at compared to other homes around you, and knowing that people are like, well, what about my neighbor down the street? Well, your neighbor could be in a 4,000 square foot big box that's priced at a lot less per square foot, but has a swimming pool, and you don't. You got to compare the 4.2 with a pool that's 2,000 square feet to the other 4.2s with a pool.
I agree.
And that's what most agents aren't taught. I have this discussion every week. I call it, bless her little heart real estate. These offers come in on my listings, and I ask them, where'd that number come from? Why do you think a $500,000 offer is going to make it on a $620,000 list price? When a house, and I tell them, the house is being shown like 3 times a day. It's going to sell very close to list price, 2 or 3% off. And
Sure.
they've never had that discussion with their buyer. They don't know how to have that discussion. They've got no sales manager in the office training them how to have that discussion and showing them that, hey, the neighbors are selling for 600 and this house has a 5-car garage.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm speaking about one of my listings. We'll
Hey,
probably talk about
I
it in
want
a
to
bit.
tell you, all the folks, about a phone call that I had yesterday with a client that Cleve and I both worked on. Wonderful lady, moved into a new construction over at Hardison Homes. I stopped by her house when I was out visiting the community. She wasn't there, but she just closed on the house and she already had all her Thanksgiving decoration, but she wasn't there. So she calls me yesterday, and because I give a free security system out to all my clients.
Yep.
And so Shawnee, my security system guy, he talks a little fast, so he can kind of throw people off a little bit. He sounds shady, but he's not shady, right? And I'm like, Shawnee, you got to slow down. Anyway, she calls me, goes, who's this Shawnee guy? Calling me about the security system. I said, it's legit. He's a great guy. He's honest as the day is long. He just talks fast and he's one-legged. Okay. So he'll come in there and you'll love him and he'll take care of his security system. But anyways, I lost my train of thought, because here's why she called me. She wanted to know that he was legit, but she said, I cannot thank you and Cleve enough. And I said, I know, I heard he got you 80 grand
more than the buyout.
than the buyout offer for
part
that
of
cash.
knowing,
Don't put your house on the
knowing your
market deal.
numbers. Yeah. And it's, what's funny about all those offers you hear, I always sit down with my sellers and go through, this is what's realistic. This is about what you'll look at. Talk to whoever you need to talk to. Talk to your family. Is this the right thing for you? What's your goals? Talk to your financial planner.
So my point is that, listen, those commercials sound good when you say them fast.
Yep.
But do you really want, because I guarantee you, the guy that's doing the commercials, you'll never talk to that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy, I don't even know. He might even be AI. I don't know.
No, he's a real person.
I know he's a real person. But you're never going to talk to him. You're not going to talk to him.
Yep.
Will they talk to you? Will they talk to you?
Oh, yeah.
Of course they're going to talk to you.
Yeah.
Do you come out and look at their property?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you give them advice personally?
Oh, yes.
You know what they do? They hire minion realtors that they're part-time.
It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, Bruce. That sweet lady you're talking about.
But I want my listeners to understand that you don't be sold on these.
She researched that sweet lady for 3 weeks, researched 3 different of those buyers that say, we'll buy your home. This is the people texting you on your phone with the call centers and all that. And it was a cluster, and there was double speak, and there were some nice pre-printed brochures, but nothing about pricing.
Oh yeah.
And when it finally came to it, when you look through the smoke and mirrors and say, what is my number? The only thing they could come up with was 80,000 less than what I got her. So if you're talking about any of those people, or you need help, call me 407-352-8118 for Loveland Properties. We'll be happy to help you.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, if you're going to put your house on the market or you want to buy a house, give Cleve a shot, man. I'm telling you, he is the real deal. You can reach the loan arranger. Get your application started here. Purchase, refinance, new construction, whatever it is you need. Home equity line of credit. I'm going to talk about bridge loans when we come back as well. But you can call the loan arranger right now at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144, or go to webringyouhome.com. Get your application made right there, and my team and I will get you up and running. We can get you into house by New Year's. If you want to buy the first of the year, I'll have you set up for that as well. I'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger Show. Don't go anywhere.